Put it in your garbage. When tending to your yard or garden, check the weather and prevent over-irrigation. Runoff of fertilizer, herbicides, landscape materials, compost piles, and leaf debris pollute our creeks. Remember, timing is everything. Pick up any litter or trash that may get into the streets. If you grab it before water or wind arrives, it doesn't have a chance of ending up in our creeks. It's up to each of us to take care of our creeks and rivers. They're ours to protect. Find out more at streetstocreeks.org.
Are you prepared? We're the Office of Emergency Services, and we're committed to providing the most up-to-date and accurate information so that you and your family can stay safe during an emergency. Visit MendoReady.org. It's our one-stop shop for emergency information. You can sign up for emergency alerts, find your pre-established evacuation zone on our current emergencies map, and find hazard and preparedness information.
Imagine you're faced with a disaster such as a wildfire, and you're ordered to evacuate. I'll bet you wish you had more time in that moment. Now's your chance to buy yourself that time. Sign up for Nixle and Mendo Alerts on our website, MendoReady.org. Do it today.
If you want your family to be as resilient as possible, it's important to take some time today and visit MendoReady.org, where you can look up your pre-established evacuation zones on our current emergencies map. You can also find important tools to help maintain your situational awareness, such as the Alert California wildfire cameras and the Caltrans road conditions cameras. We hope you'll take some time today to prepare so that your family can be Mendo ready. Thank you.
Monday, April 6, 2026, regular Mendocino Local Agency Formation Commission meeting to order, and invite roll call.
Thank you. Good morning. Commissioner Ward.
Here.
Commissioner Klein. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Present.
Commissioner Horsley. Here. Commissioner Mahoney. Commissioner Roden will be coming late today. And Chair Mulhern.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start the meeting with public expression. The Commission welcomes participation in the LAFCO meeting. Any person may address the Commission on any subject within the jurisdiction of LAFCO which is not on the agenda. There is a 3-minute limit and no action will be taken at this meeting. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Commission on something that is not on the agenda? Please come forward, and if you could state your name for the record, that's helpful.
Good morning. Chair Mulherin and fellow commissioners, thanks for hearing me. My name is Dave Schbach, and I serve as chairman of the Mendocino Coast Recreation and Park District. The purpose of my remarks this morning are to draw your attention to some issues related to item 8B in the minutes of the LAFCO meeting on February 2nd. So I'm offering comments now, not in contest to the minutes because they're accurate, but instead some of the content of the minutes. Is this appropriate, or would you rather I discuss this later?
You can comment now if you like, or you can hold until we're on the item for the minutes.
Okay.
Either way, why don't you, we're pretty informal around here, so why don't you go ahead?
All right, I'll pitch. Okay, the minutes report that Commissioner Ward asked if LAFCO can request data from the County Auditor Controller's Office and charge the cost to the district. Executive Officer Hinman gave two answers to this question. The first, the Auditor Controller told district staff that a special project could be requested to get the information. In fact, when Executive Director Felosich and I met with Ms. Cubison on October 30 last year, she refused our request for help and told us that the district would have to apply for annexation or detachment for her to conduct tax rate area analysis of property tax allocations. Neither annexation or detachment are sought by the district, nor relevant to the purposes of an MSR, nor an efficient expenditure of taxpayer resources in service of MSR objectives. Second, E.O. Hinman also said there are entities and businesses that purchase the data from counties and perform the analysis at cost. Compensating non-governmental professional service providers almost always includes overhead and profit, charged in addition to expenses, most often at higher net cost than public agency services. The district's fiduciary duty to taxpayers to obtain least cost, competent, and responsible professional services from capable local agencies has been thwarted by the Auditor Controller and deflected by LAFCO staff. The minutes also report that Commissioner Ward requested clarification on whether the tax apportionment data could be included in the MSR. E.O. Hinman responded that if available, it could be considered, but it goes beyond the standard scope of an MSR. The recitals of the MOU that initiated the MCRPD MSR, and I apologize for all the acronyms, but it's quicker, were repeated in the MCRPD letter to LAFCO and make clear that MCRPD is not in a steady state suitable for a standard MSR scope. MCRPD does not argue the need for property tax allocation analysis is beyond a typical MSR scope. In fact, the district situation and needs for analyses within the scope of CKHA authorization are objectively atypical and have been part of the MCRPD request since initiation of work with LAFCO. MCRPD is atypical in its geographic extent and market complexity. In the fundamental changes over 18 years since the last MSR, which include bankruptcy and major facility forfeitures, and 45% annual property tax revenue diversion. 2 grand jury investigations and unresolved questions about equity and sustainability. Transformative service reorientation toward the entire 77-mile district territory, and concrete accelerating actions by a municipal agency within the district territory to implement market-dividing recreational services. MCRPD has been upfront about its atypical situation and atypical needs. MCRPD asked atypically to advance the MSR and is atypically willing to cost-share MSR work authorized by the CKHA. MCRPD needs just a moment or two more. MCRPD needs an MSR scope that's aligned with its mission-critical and existential challenges. If this is beyond the standard scope of an MSR, then so be it. Let's get moving on the correct MSR scope. Thank you for allowing me to comment. I welcome your questions and am available to discuss the matter with you as appropriate.
Thank you. I would ask, I guess, Director Hinman, should we have a separate agenda item to discuss this at a future meeting since this was not on the agenda, or is this something that can be discussed during the work plan discussion? What do you think would be the best next steps to clarify what the MSR can include and not include?
I would suggest that we agendize it at a later meeting for that discussion. Or we could also possibly have a meeting of the executive committee and discuss it at the executive committee level. Either way.
Okay, I think it would be, I see Commissioner Ward has a question. It might be appropriate to have a conversation at the executive committee about the scope of the agenda item, and then to bring the agenda item forward if the executive committee feels that that's needed. I think that's probably the more appropriate way to move forward, because it does seem to be a question that's causing concerns. Thank you. Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, I just wanted some clarification in the, I was going to bring it up during the minutes discussion. What's the difference between the MSR costs and the SOI costs? I mean, one's an application and one's a work plan?
The agreement that we established with the district was that the district would pay for the preparation of the MSR, and the LAFCO would pay for the preparation of the sphere of influence update.
Okay, so which one is the application, the MSR?
It's not really an application, it's kind of a special study.
But it's under the applications in our packet.
Because it's being billed at cost to the district.
So there's another place to put it, so you put it there. Okay.
If you have a suggestion, I'm open.
All right, thank you. I'll ask some questions on it still, but that's a good clarification. Thank you.
If I might.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm available to participate in any way that you
Thank
feel
you.
is appropriate.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public in the room that wish to comment on items on public expression? Seeing no one come forward, are there any members of the public online that have hands raised to speak under public expression?
There are none. I did get a message that they're muted online.
Oh, that we are muted? Or oh. Well. Thank you, Scott.
The rescue.
Is that the
Can you-
video would include that though? Will the video include everything that we've discussed? Okay, thank you.
And can you hear us now,
I'm still
Jen?
confused.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you.
Great.
There's no comments online.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 3A, selection of officers. The members of the commission will elect a chair, vice chair, and treasurer for the calendar year of 2026. Current chair, Mel Mulhern. Vice chair, treasurer, Gerald Ward. Look for a motion. Commissioner Horsley.
I don't have a problem. As long as she shows up to every meeting.
I would move same commissioners be the same slate for the entire.
I would second that.
Okay, are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
So to clarify, this is Commissioner Mulhern for chair and Commissioner Ward for vice chair and treasurer?
Correct.
Thank you. Roll call, Commissioner Mahoney, Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
and Chair Mulhern.
Yes. Thank you. That brings us to agenda item 3B, the standing committee appointments, and the commission chair makes the appointments for the executive committee and the policies and procedures committee. Currently serving on the executive committee are the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and a third, the Commissioner Roden from city. And the policies and procedures committee, we have Commissioner Gonzalez serving as the chair, and Commissioners Horsley and Roden serving as well. The representation for Commissioner Horsley should probably be special district.
Bring that up, yeah.
Do you all wish to continue to serve? Commissioner Gonzalez? Are there any commissioners that wish to desperately serve on these committees? Raise your hand if you have a burning desire.
I'm not going to say it's a burning desire, Chair, but I was going to offer if there was a need to be on your executive committee or on the Policies and Procedures Committee, but I also want to acknowledge you know, with you as chair being the other county representative, it might not be appropriate for me to serve in that. So just throwing it out there. If there's a need, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Are there, yes, is there a motion?
I guess we're all on the, I guess I'll motion that continue with the current slates on those. You need a different motion for each one, executive and policy, or can we do one motion for both?
I think it's written as standing committee appointments, so both would be fine.
Okay, then I would make the motion that we continue with the current standing committees.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, we have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along to item 4A, the draft meeting minutes from the February 2nd meeting. Were there questions or comments on these minutes from the commissioners? Commissioner Ward?
I'd like to pull A, B, and C for A, B. Just for discussion.
Well, we can do one at a time if you prefer, or?
That would be fine.
Okay, we'll start with 4A.
How about 4B, because that's when I started it. I read March 1st. So let's start with the minutes.
Yeah, 4A.
4A. I requested how much we spent on the lawsuit, and on page 8, under 7B, it says the fiscal budget for the year, legal services was $15,000. 97% of it was, 62% of it was a result of litigation activity. Well, that's about $9,300, but then you told me down below, when I requested it, we spent to date $6,400. What's the difference? I mean, what number is correct?
I'll have to confirm that in QuickBooks and get back to you.
Yeah, because I know that number should be higher than 6,400 based on that, but I just wanted to make sure that it didn't jive in the minutes anyway. Then regarding the City of Ukiah corporate yard tax sharing, did we ever get an answer on that? You were going to research it?
Yeah, perhaps someone from the,
I think Madeline said that you thought it might be part of the overall. Anyway, I just want to get an answer on where we are at then.
Yeah, I can provide context from what I know. So our conversations were, it could fall under the master tax sharing agreement, and it also could fall under a no tax share agreement. And the city was in favor of a no tax share agreement, and that's going to be up for discussion for the county tomorrow. So there's options on how it could be pursued. It's not has to be one or the other.
Okay. So we're still dealing with that, I guess.
It's on the Board of Supervisors agenda for tomorrow.
and the city council adopted a zero tax share resolution. So once the county has considered, and if they adopt, then that project is moving forward.
Okay. Also, our city commissioners expired 12/31. So how does that play into this? I mean, are they legally still being able to vote and all? I don't understand.
Yeah, there is a provision in the CKH that allows for the continuation of those representatives, provided they're still eligible. So they still sit on their city councils.
Have we made a decision yet?
Until there's a successor. They've had trouble establishing a quorum for a meeting of the city selection committee. I spoke with the county clerk last week, and they had a meeting scheduled. It was canceled. So they're trying again to find a date.
Can we just keep the two we have?
Well, just as a reminder for commissioners and the public, the city selection committee is a meeting of the 4 mayors of the incorporated cities. So it's not something that LAFCO or
Yeah, I
the
understand.
agencies decide on their own.
Okay. So we'll go into the claims. 87 costs were only $200. What's up with that? We got a big refund coming or something? Because we usually spend $6,000.
Tell us what page you're on, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. It's in the claims under.
Are you on did you move on to 4B? Let's have a vote on 4A on the meeting. Were your
I think I'm done with that. With the.
Okay. I think we should do them individually in case that there are changes. So, do we have a motion for approval of the minutes from February 2nd?
So moved.
Thank you. Roll
Second.
call, please.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Now we can move on to item 4B, the February claims.
Well, it's actually for Candace asked where I'm looking at. It's the budget tracking on page 24. But this is March.
This is item 4C.
4C.
Okay. Are there any
Okay.
questions on item 4B
Yes.
from February? Yeah, Commissioner Horsley.
So I'm just looking at, page 13. And I'm just wondering about the intergovernmental revenues. It's April. So is that saying that the county has not paid yet and that there's a lot of special districts that haven't paid yet?
So part of the reason we don't have probably accurate numbers there is that the county had not closed the months yet. So we track what is in the county munis reports. And so this is an accurate accounting of those reports, I think, through end of September. We hadn't yet received the most up-to-date munis reports.
At the end of September?
Yes, later in the month. In
Um,
March, we received through December.
Through December, yes.
Yeah.
We did also.
So
Okay.
that's reflected in item
So
4C.
it could be paid, we just don't.
Correct.
Okay. Because you will follow through if certain ones.
I do track them as I get the munis reports and then coordinate with the county auditor to do that reminder.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other, Commissioner Ward?
Yeah, I found what I wanted. On February, there were that Mendocino Coast Recreation Parks District. There was the down in applications, but you didn't add the overhead because it's a special deal.
It's a special project that we are doing at cost
Okay.
rather than at the service rates as we do for applications.
Right, I might have forgotten. And I believe the A87 costs might have been March, but can you explain that again to me?
I did check with the auditor's office. I was also surprised. So they do it it's retroactively, so it's you pay ahead and then they true up a year later. So we had paid, I think it was $5,070 or something like that last fiscal year. So they did a true up this year, and you can see there's a credit on our account, so it brought the next year's A87 costs way down to, or 200 and something.
Okay. That's good news.
It is. It makes it hard to budget for it in the next fiscal year, but I did ask for an estimate, and I'm hoping she'll get back to me so we can be more accurate in our final budget.
Okay, another confusing thing to me is the council's expenses on the Coast District's MSR, since it is a guess. Applications, we were always charged those to the applicant, but this special, I guess, is now we're going to pick up the county, our council's expenses.
We didn't call those out separately. We could go back and discuss that and possibly pull those into the, under that agreement. I'll look at the
Yeah.
agreement again.
It's almost between the 2 months, about over $1,000.
Okay.
Just wanted to, I'm not picking on them, I just want to make sure we're consistent in our council fees. I believe that's all I had, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So those are all the questions from item 4B from all the
Yes,
commissioners?
4B and 4C. We'll do 4B if you want to do first.
I do want to do that. Thank you so much. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on 4B? Seeing none, I would invite a motion.
I would move that we approve 4B.
Thank you. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Klein,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes.
I would also like to note for the record that Commissioner Roden is here.
Thank you.
And I say yes.
Commissioner.
Item 4C.
I would like to move item 4C.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley, Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Roden,
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes. Thank you. Item 4D, the amendment number 4 to Executive Officer Services Agreement with Hinman and Associates Consulting. Are there any questions from the commissioners regarding this updated proposal?
Move approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any members of the Commissioner Ward?
I have an interesting question. We don't have a employer identification number, do we? We don't file a tax return.
We do not.
How do you record your compensation into the IRS? We don't give you a 1099.
No, we do a 1099 for legal counsel because she's a sole proprietor. I'm an S Corp, so
Yeah.
I do not require a 1099.
So we send a 1099 to our council?
Yes,
Who does that?
I do.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
through QuickBooks.
I was just curious because I'm thinking about that tax season. Now everybody's got the taxes, and how did you report yours?
Yeah, the commissioners also receive a 1099 if their reimbursements are over a certain threshold.
Okay. I didn't get one, so I guess I don't get any reimbursement. That's all I had.
Thank you. So I believe I had a motion and a second. Do we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Roden? Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Klein?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes. Thank you. And we are on to item 4E, the amendment to legal services agreement with the law offices of Marcia Bursch. Similarly, are there any questions for this item? Commissioner Roden?
Move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public that have questions on this item? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Horsley?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Aye.
Commissioner Roden?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Chair Mulhern.
Yes. We made it through the consent. All right, on to item 5A, public hearing for proposed budget and work program for the fiscal year 26-27. The recommended action is to review the proposed budget and work program for 26-27 and accept all public testimony and take the following actions, including the adoption of the resolution, directing staff to distribute the proposed budget and work program, and to schedule a public hearing for May 4th to approve the final budget and work program. So I'd like to ask the commissioners to please use their pens if they, oh, you have a presentation.
I do have it.
Sorry, I'm just moving right ahead. Please, Executive Officer. Love to see your presentation.
Thank you. So there are some new folks on the commission, so I'm going to do a brief overview of our process. The annual budget, the statutes for the annual budget are laid forth in the Cortese Knox Hertzberg. The Commission adopts an annual budget. The statutes say that the budget should be greater than or equal to the previous fiscal year, unless the Commission can make a finding that the reduction in budget will allow them to continue to fulfill their purposes and programs. There's a provision for less if they can find that a reduction in staffing or program expenses will continue to allow them to fulfill those purposes. We also have policies for the annual budget, which are start in policy 5.1. So the development process is that the executive officer develops a preliminary budget and work program in February. It is based on the previous year's budgets and actuals, and then projections based on the known trends. The executive committee then reviews and makes a recommendation to the Commission during a March meeting. The proposed budget and work program is presented to the Commission in April, and the Commission considers adopting a proposed budget and work program, which is then distributed to all of the member agencies. A final budget and work program is required to be adopted by June 15th of every year, and then that is distributed to the member agencies and the county auditor, who does the invoicing and collections of apportionment. So this is so the Executive Committee met on March 13th and reviewed the preliminary budget, and then recommendation is presented to the Commission today. So today we're holding a public hearing on the proposed budget. If it is adopted, the budget and work program will be distributed to the agencies, and a second public hearing will be scheduled to consider final budget and work program. So the expenditures consist of basic services, services and supplies, the work plan, and applications. Basic services is the staffing, so the executive officer and our analysts. Services and supplies are the organizational operations and supplies, office supplies, professional services such as legal counsel and GIS services, and any training for the Commission staff. The work plan is the prioritized municipal service review and sphere studies for the year. And our applications are on a cost recovery basis, but we do anticipate continuing to work on prior reorganization pre-application, Russian River Flood Control District annexation come through the tax share process. So again, the basic services are staffing. That includes the day-to-day office administration and operations and carrying out the direction of staff. It also, of the Commission. That also includes development of policies and procedures, research, coordination with the local government agencies in the county, budget development and reporting. The work plan development, we review the rolling work plan schedule. We identify and prioritize the municipal service reviews and sphere of influence updates for the year. We also look at known issues or development pressures of the agencies and consider that in our prioritization. And then we also try to coordinate with land use plan updates, such as general plan updates for agencies. The work plan can be either implemented by in-house by staff or outsourced to consultants. So for next fiscal year, we intend to complete the Laytonville County Water District study and then continue to work on the multi-year county-wide fire and EMS service provider studies, which consist of 18 special districts. We also propose to initiate a study for the Mendocino Coast Healthcare District in the next fiscal year, and that one would likely be outsourced. Our revenue includes cash balance, so unreserved equity from the current fiscal year that will roll into the next year. Apportionments, which are established with the budget and are paid on a 1/3 equal split between the county, the cities, and the special districts. We also have service fee revenue that is part of our fee schedule. A portion of that is applied to administration of LAFCO. And then finally, we have interest from our bank accounts and also from the county. So we do maintain reserves. We have a legal reserves, which the target is 50,000. Our operational reserves are 25% of our operating budget. We have a work plan contingency and then unreserved cash balance. The work plan contingency is unallocated funds. Essentially, it's work plan budget rollover that goes from year to year to support the work plan efforts. Then the unreserved cash balance is applied to the next fiscal year to help balance the budget. So the proposed budget for this year is $338,000, which is essentially no change from the current fiscal year as amended. Expenditures are $338,000. No changes to the basic services budget or the work plan budget. It would be a slight decrease in the services and supplies. The revenues would be, we are proposing no change to the apportionments, so it would continue at $275,000 for the fourth consecutive year. And then we would propose to use $53,000 of the cash balance to balance the budget. You propose to restore to target the legal reserves. In February, the commission approved withdrawing $10,000 to backfill the legal services needs for this year. So we propose to restore that from the cash balance, and that would leave a work plan contingency of about $55,000. So to summarize, these are the recommendations. Review the proposed budget and work program for next fiscal year, accepting public testimony and taking the following actions: adopting resolution 2025-2605, approving the proposed budget and work program for next fiscal year, and directing staff to transmit to the funding agencies for review, and then also to direct staff to schedule a public hearing. That concludes presentation.
Thank you. I'm going to start with Commissioner Horsley and then go to Commissioner Ward.
I have 3 or 4 questions, kind of generic here. So we just approved all these rate increases, hourly rate increases for staff and for legal. So I'm just wondering how we get away with not increasing basic services expenses based on increases.
Thank you for that question. We anticipate spending more time on the work plan. We have a really substantial workload in the work plan, so we anticipate spending more time on that and a little bit less on organizational administration. So there will be a shift in time between the two, but not budget.
Okay, so work plan, you have 10,000 more than you did in the original budget for last year.
It is accommodated in the proposed budget for the work plan.
Okay. Also, there's in 2 places, one place it says, page 39, there'll be a slight decrease, and yet on page 46 it says there'll be an increase. But I'm assuming that's because in one place you're looking at the initial budget, in the other you're looking at the amended budget. Because it's actually 5,000 more than the initial budget.
Right.
For last year.
So it is an increase from the initial budget, but not from, it's a decrease from the amended. Correct. And
okay,
that
I
is
just wanted to make sure I was getting that correctly. Okay.
And that is to accommodate the changed rates for the attorney.
And how did we come up with the 53,000? Was it just to make the bottom line the same amount as last year?
That's to the 53,000 in cash balance to apply.
Yes.
So we had 100. So the projection through the end of this fiscal year, there will be approximately $118,000 cash balance. Of that, we propose to apply 53,000 so that we can keep the apportionment fees the same. The remainder of that will follow the work plan, unfinished work plan, to the next.
Okay. I couldn't find that particular comment anywhere, but that's what I was figuring. Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Commissioner Ward?
Thank you. That presentation you had there, other than the recommended action. That'd be perfect to put on our website. Explains everything. Is it on the website?
We can post that after the meeting today.
I think it's a very good deal for people to understand how our budget process works. And it was well done. Very good.
Thank you.
And I want to thank the commission for keeping the apportionment fees 4 years in a row, but keeping them at us, because a lot of districts out there are hurting. So I want to make sure we keep a good budget number for them. So on page 49 of our packet, it says that you anticipate completing the City of City of Willits and City of Point Arena, as well as the Recreation and Park District by June 30th. Is that going to happen? Because you're going forward now with 27 and they weren't there.
They weren't there. I think the one that we're not quite sure about is the City of Willits. They have gone through quite a bit of transition in the last month or so. But the City of Point Arena, we anticipate bringing forward as a workshop next month with the hope that we will bring that for adoption to the Commission in June. And the Mendocino Coast Recreation and Park District, we are hoping for the same schedule.
That'll be a workshop then as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Workshops in May and presentation of the final in June.
Good. It's like piece of completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners with questions on the? Okay. I'm not seeing any. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment? Not seeing any in the room. Are there any online?
None online.
Okay. I'll be looking for a motion in a second.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Horsley?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Commissioner Roden? Commissioner Klein?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Chair Mulhern?
Yes. Okay, item 7A is the discussion of a policy amendment for financial audit frequency, and the executive office, or the executive committee is asking the commissioners if we can move to doing a biennial audit. Did you want to add more context, E.O. Hinman?
I think that covers it. Just to point out that the policies do right now state that we will do an annual audit. The discussion with the executive committee was that due to the regular reporting that we do, the monthly and the quarterly and the half-year reporting that we do on the budget is transparent and sufficient to keep the commission apprised of our budget and activities, and that a biennial audit might be a cost savings for the commission.
Thank you. Are there any commissioners that have questions? Commissioner Horsley?
I just want to make a statement that there are a lot of special districts that are looking at the same thing. And it's because the cost of the audits have gone up so dramatically and just can't afford doing the annual. And as long as there's transparency and the detail that you've just shown us in the budget process, and having a confident CEO makes all the difference. Somebody that we trust. So I see this happening with a lot of different agencies.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Klein?
DKH actually provides this too, correct? I mean, it's something that they do. So for clarification, we're doing an audit now for the 26 year, I guess. So we won't do another one until 28.
So our current audit is 2025.
Oh, 25, sorry.
Yeah, and so
27.
It'll be 2027.
Okay. That should save a little bit of money too.
Thank you. Commissioner Klein?
See if I can get off mute. Just to echo Commissioner Horsley's comments, I know this is something that a lot of special districts are seeking out, and our LAFCO is, if anything, an example of transparency, and it's so easy to find information about how we're doing our budget process, and I think this is a great idea for us to pursue. So thank you for bringing it forward.
Great, thank you. So, questions, are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this item?
None online?
Thank you, seeing none. Commissioner Roden? Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Mahoney? Commissioner Roden?
Yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley?
Yes.
Chair Mulhern?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it looks like we can move on to the information and report items, starting with item 8A, the work plan, current and future proposals. Did you have anything else to add, E.O. Hinman?
I think we've covered most of it. Hoping for City of Point Arena and the Mendocino Coast Rec and Park District for a workshop next month. And it provided, well, depending on the outcome of the item on the Board of Supervisors agenda later this week for the zero tax share for the City of Ukiah's corporation yard annexation, that application may be moving forward in the next weeks. So that we're not sure when that would be scheduled yet. We'll be looking at our our schedule. So those ones, the Russian River Flood Control District, the tax share agreement, I believe, is making its way, or the negotiation piece of it is making its way through the assessor and auditor's office now. I believe as far as future applications, it is getting closer for the Anderson Valley CSD on their activation of latent powers for water and sewer. So I don't know when that will come through, but there is, they have made progress to the point where they're getting close to releasing a draft CEQA document. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. We'll move on to any correspondence received.
There's no correspondence.
Thank you. And CALAFCO Business and Legislative Report, item 8C.
CALAFCO, and perhaps Commissioner Roden can assist here. The membership did approve the proposed bylaw amendments by a vote of 40-2. The changes removed the fixed board seat designations and allowed executive officers to run for the CALAFCO board beginning this election cycle. There were 72 individuals that participated. I don't know, Commissioner Roden, do you have, okay. And
No, there's really nothing to add.
okay, thank you. I can report too that LA LAFCO has renewed their membership with CALAFCO. So they have come back into the organization, which is great news, especially for VIP fees in the future. And also CALAFCO University is releasing a webinar for LAFCO 201, and that will be held on April 22nd. I will send that reminder around to the commissioners. The 201 course is going to be a deeper dive into the LAFCO statutes and trends and looking at analytical tools for reviewing challenging LAFCO proposals and strategic perspectives on MSR and sphere planning. They're also going to do more details on governance practices that strengthen commission deliberations. So it sounds like it's going to be a great course. Certainly encourage folks to attend. It is free to us as members. And that's all I have for the CALAFCO.
Thank you. Commissioner Roden and Commissioner Horsley?
Well, really, my question is maybe for the last item about commissioner reports and comments, so I could wait.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Horsley?
I just wondered, the funding seminar by Zoom was full, and do you know if they're rescheduling that at all?
I believe they've scheduled another one for June 7th, and I can send that information out to
That'd be great. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, not seeing any. Oh, Commissioner Ward.
Must have been behind the
Yeah, it's behind us.
Regarding the quarterly report, there was a due structural review, and I know they haven't made a decision. Do you know where that's going? Or have you heard any scuttlebutt?
So they did adopt a dues structure, and they went with a 3% CPI. So there is a slight increase, but they kept it at the consumer price
So they're
index.
talking about maybe a population thing and stuff like that too, but that didn't go forward?
There's been no change to
Okay.
the way they're calculating it yet.
I find it interesting, except for what's next. They want to implement a clearer financial reporting position. I guess that would be a big help, I guess, but somebody came up with that. And then explore practical website improvements. I mean, how come that hasn't been done in the past? I mean, it's a big organization, but hopefully things will be improving. And but with our 3% increase, hopefully we'll get some better service. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Item AD, the Executive Officer's Report.
Wanted to report that our CPA, Paling and Paling, is almost done with our draft audit of the financial statements. I anticipate the audit will be on the next agenda. And also wanted to report that I did attend the Fire Districts Association of California's training module for fire leadership. It was held in Mendocino College in mid-March. It was a 2-day training. It was really well attended by representatives of both Mendocino and Lake County fire districts. The class was mostly focused on fire agency governance, organizational options, and funding sources. And I will say that the presenters used every opportunity to promote LAFCO and their relationships with LAFCO, which was a surprise. And it was really great to hear them pull that into basically every component that they went through. They encouraged the agencies to engage with their LAFCOs and to emphasize the importance of the relationships to support them as they look at their organization. Future efficiencies of service. It was great timing, and we did get to connect with some of the district. Mostly they were commissioners and fire chiefs, so that's great. Or fire district board members, excuse me. And then I also wanted to report the June 7th CSDA financial training. I'll send that out.
Our Form 700s, do you send those to the auditor for us?
No, and I think as the public member, that's the only one. You still need to send it to the county. And if you haven't, I think I have received it from this point.
And they're due, when's it drop dead?
April 1st?
I didn't know that. I've been doing 25 of them, and I didn't know I had to do it to the, okay. Get on that.
Okay. Thank you. Item 8E, committee reports. The executive committee met and we've received those agenda items now. Was there an update from the Policies and Procedures Committee? Okay. And commissioner reports. Comments or questions? Commissioner Roden?
I was going to ask about the fire training, the leadership training, but the EO covered that. So
okay, great. Are there any other commissioners that wish?
I just wanted, when are we going to put back the money for the legal fees? We did that already? I didn't see a check go out for that.
We have not restored it to the reserves yet, so that we can do that towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Our fiscal year.
As long as we do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other reports or questions? Okay. With that, we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's your done.